I never had to bail you out of jail. I never had to save your life. I never had to give you money, ever. My dad never had to do that because I always, like you said, kept a job.
Right.
Because I liked money. And I liked being able to pay for my own shit.
Right.
Everybody around me worked.
Right.
My mom, my dad, my aunts, there was no housewives. So when these be talking about what you bring to the table, or are you going to go 50-50? Motherfucking your parents went 50-50. They brought the checks home and they paid the fucking bills. Stuff you talking about.
Right.
And let me tell you something else. My dad didn't raise me to be someone's wife. My dad, not one fucking time, and my dad thought I was beautiful.
Right.
My dad, not one fucking time, said to me, I need you to get married and have kids. Oh, make sure that my dad never said that. Matter of fact, he told me I was talking shit to my first boyfriend. I cursed that motherfucker out. You didn't come and pick me up from work. Are you ignorant?
Right.
What's wrong with you? And my dad was like, woo, wait a minute. You know you can't talk to men like that. I said, I can talk to a mother however I want to. You want to be with me? My dad was like, well, you're going to have a hard time. I'm telling you right now. And I was like, so that's what you want me? You want me to be saying? He was like, nah, I want you to always make your own money. But if you want a man, you know you're not going to be able to talk to them like that. I said, well, I'll get the one that make me not talk to him like that. How about that? And he was like, you know what? Let's keep on. He was like, she too old to change. And I mean, I saw all my friends having babies and shit. No. I never.
Giving all praise to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, by Yeshem, Yahweh Shah, by Yeshem Karabadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders that rule well. Peace and meaning. Salutations to Yakim that's toiling in his truth. Now this is Leslie Jones speaking about, relationships and how her father didn't raise her to be a wife. And I thought that was a very intriguing statement. A lot of problems that these women have really be the father. The father, these Israelites, we have been entrenched in, and engulfed in the ways of Esau, Edom, right? Which, uplifts individualism. In our culture, it was about collectivism. What's good for the society. But here in Esau, Edom, he pushes the mindset of self. And this has been, one of the reasons why there's such disorganization, if you will, or, what's the other word I'm looking for? Confusion in marriage. You know what I'm saying? You got guys out there that are having these girls, and, they're teaching these girls, oh, be independent, have your own money, which, in this life, these women, they have to take care of themselves. You don't want your gal out there, your baby girl out there, you know what I'm saying, depending on someone because you don't know what type of caliber of man she'll get. But instilling in them, saying not to listen to a man, is leaving a lot of these women childless, you know what I'm saying, and not married. I seen another interview of her recently, complaining that she can't get satisfied by a man. It's like you fit down there 60 years old, you still having complications, you know what I'm saying, with your sex life, because you've been ran through since your teenage years. You know what I'm saying? So you can't get that connection that you would like. You basically have lived your life as a harlot. And a lot of these guys out here, they're teaching their children, their baby girls, to be harlots, to take your hoes. You know what I'm saying? And it's not working. And the bigger the thing of it is, we just have to get out of this place, bro. A man can't be a man here, and a woman can't be a woman. A man should be able to provide for his household, but you can't do that off of one income. You know, you need two income. I'm saying? A woman has to work, and even within that, in the ancient world, you had women that worked. But the mindset was the man is the head of the household. You know, so regardless if she had a gig, you know, or bringing money in, by different means, you know, selling certain things at the market, things of that nature. That money was for the betterment of the household. Now you have women out here, that's, willing to give up their family for themselves. You see what I'm saying? And it goes back to what they're being taught. A lot of these guys, are raising their children, their women, well, their daughters to be masculine, you know, and that leaves them undesirable, you know. Leslie Jones, she was cute when she was in her 20s. You go back to, when she was in her 90s, she was all right. But now, I mean, she's undesirable. Oh, you old, you got a mouth on you, you're bad built. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody have to deal with that shit, regardless of how much money you have. A man would choose a female that works at McDonald's that's humble versus a female that's worth millions of dollars that can't shut the hell up. And a lot of these women out here, they believe that, money, makes them more desirable by men, you know. And the reason why is they were taught that by their father. The father taught them to be providers and things of that nature and get your money, because that's what a man is supposed to do to attract a female. Okay? All right, so this place here, you know, um, has really destroyed our people mentally, dog. Really, really, really tore us up, man. And it's apparent by our women, okay? Sirach 7 and 24. Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful towards them. That's right. You have daughters, man. It's like, you know, um, what I try to do is I try not to get too familiar with my children because it's very easy to, to be in that lovey-dovey spirit. At the end of the day, I'm here to raise you. I'm not here to be your friend. And society teaches you to be vulnerable and, be all playful with your daughters and dress up in a fucking tutu and dance with them and, and all that bullshit. And that don't work, because they're not going to respect you. Society teaches you to be a buffoon. You're not supposed to be a buffoon in front of your daughters. They're not going to respect you, right? And what you show them, is going to be a reflection on how, they view men. That's how simplistic women are, and they're already bombarded with imagery and certain messages that show men as Neanderthals, especially the so-called black man and Latinos, right? So no, you don't be cheerful towards your daughters. Has thou daughters, have a care of their body, and show not them thyself cheerful to them. That's right. Make sure you watching what they eat. You know, these kids are, nowadays are morbidly obese, man. I never seen so many fat ass kids in my life. That'll make them undesirable to a man with any type of knowledge or understanding itself. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weightier matter, but give her to a man of understanding. That's right. So in this is something that's, we can't do in this society. You know, who your woman, well, your daughter, you know, uh, is betrothed to, or in layman terms, dates. You should have a say so in that, man. These women, they're filled with all these ideologies of the world. You hope that you could teach them about the scriptures, and they just sent out into the world, man, and told to figure out by themselves, and they make horrible decisions, terrible decisions, man. Right? So, you know, ultimately, we just got to get the hell up out of here, man, because it's just a ball of confusion that's led to, what we see going on now, and what we see going on now is straight disorder. Okay, straight disorder. And we can blame this on Esau Edom. Esau Edom likes to this, herald himself as he's just the best thing going, but his whole, you know, uh, culture, uplifts debauchery, man. Right? So we need Yahweh Shah to return to get these things right, man. Okay? Ecclesiasticus Sirach 26 and 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Right? She got a shameless mind. Well, her father should have told her. Leslie Jones' father should have told her, like, man, don't be talking to men like that, man. Don't talk to men like that, man. If you feel like you can't respect him, you need to leave him alone. And yes, I want you to get married and have kids. He should have kept her in straightly, because she's shameless. Even though you look at her now, she's shameless. Okay? Right? Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against you. So ultimately, she gonna do what she gonna do. Okay? She opened her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a water, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. That's right. So you can tell these girls something, so emotional that they'll latch on to certain aspects of things that you have said, saying, and use that opportunity to be a slut, or to have, a resentment towards men. So marvel not, even if you try your best in this world, if your baby girl, is out there bad. And ultimately, we need salvation, because even with Leslie Jones' father, she wasn't telling her, to be independent and don't listen. No, he was telling her sound of like, look, you can't talk to a man like that, man. If you want a man. But she used her emotions as a weapon to, diffuse what her father was trying to tell her. Like, look, you gotta calm down. You can't be talking to me like that. Fast forward now, then they're 60 years old, still complaining about how man ain't shit. Right? So, prayers edifying. Shalom.